Right, it's been absolutely ages since I did any work on this at all. If you remember from the last one, I had 2 leaks out of 3 windows. One was definitely my fault. The other I was sort of like thinking it was manufacturer fault on the window. I contacted Van Pimps, they were absolutely amazing. Contacted me back within 20 minutes. He had a look at the video, he says, yeah, there's a fault with it. He offered me a new window, but he says, do you want to try and repair it? Obviously that's going to be an easier option for me. So I says, well look, I says, if it doesn't work, are you going to send me a new window? He says, yeah, of course I will. He says, I'll send you some sealant to repair it first, see if you can get away with that. If not, send a new window out. Absolutely perfect response, couldn't have asked for better. So I've been waiting. Every time I've gone to done it, it's been raining. So what I think I'm going to have to do, because we're in October now, I think I'm going to have to seal the window up from the outside, let it dry off, and then have a go at repairing it. The back one was definitely my fault, but I'm going to sort that one out as well. Going to cut the side window out, going to cut the flares out for these sides as well, so that I can get the flares, we can get a longer bed in as well. So the reason why I was holding off anyway was basically because I wanted to repair the window before I put the floor down, but things being what they are with the weather and that, I've decided to crash on with the floor. And for the guy who said, you know, there's always a bottle in your van in the dubious yellow liquid, it's Luke's here, mate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the floor. I've decided now, what I did, I had some slate battens from the job, so I stuck them in the house because they needed drying out basically. I wanted to glue them to the floor, so I thought better dry them out first. Looked at them, they were warped, so they weren't quite 25mm. So what I've decided to do now, I'm going to do a floating floor. I'm going to fill the floor with 25mm PIR insulation. When I say fill, I'm going to completely cover it, and then I'm going to put the ply over the top of that, screw through the ply into the metal deck with stainless steel screws, and basically it's almost a floating floor, except I'm going to fix it down just to take any sponginess out of it. But I'm actually stood in the piece now. I'm going to show you in a minute now. The 25mm is floating over what I've already filled as well. I'll show you that as well, and then the plies on top of that. So it's pretty solid. It doesn't feel spongy in the slightest, but I am going to fire a few screws in. The stainless steel as well, but I'll show you them going in. Right, so you can see there I put my Dodo deadening liner in the grooves there, because I was trying to get rid of all that one, and I put the mat there. I've got my 25mm insulation. I've got my drill through there, and I've now put a 50mm stainless steel screw in there. Just from two screw fix, I think I got them. 50mm, I'm just going to put a few of them in, just to hold it all in place. I'm not remotely concerned about, I know some people say you want to put battens down so you're going to get a good fixing for whatever you put in the van. I've fixed plenty of stuff in my time. There's enough fixings and adhesive on the market to successfully fix anything down. And as far as like them ripping out if you have a crash, well, if you have a crash, then you know you stuff's going to happen anyway, isn't it? So one thing's for sure, the full floor isn't going to come up with all the stuff on it anyway. That's a definite. So as long as I get a good fixing on whatever I put in, I'll be happy with that. So just to talk about the window again, that's where I thought the leak was coming from, and it is where the leak is coming from. It's there filled up there. Look, I don't know if you can see that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a little blade in there. I'm going to part it apart a little bit, force it open a little bit, get a bit of force it open a little bit, get a bit of sealant in it, and then hopefully that will cure that leak on there. The back one obviously I'm going to sort out as well. Right, so what I've decided to do, I'm going to run the insulation left to right, and then I'm going to run the ply from the front of the van to the back of the van. I took photographs so that I know where my upright went. So I took photographs so I know where the white bits of metal are, the highest points, so that I can screw through into them, because my screws aren't long enough to go through into the shorter bit. But that's where I want to screw through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark up at that end where they all start, then I'm going to slide the insulation that way, and then when I put my ply on the top, I'll know where I am. Another thing I've just realised now is if I put that tight there, you can, let me put the mic there, you can hear it sort of squeaking and creaking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a little gap all the way around, fill it with a sealant, and then I'm going to foil tape up the sides as well, because I don't want it squeaking as I'm driving along. So you can see there I've marked with a Sharpie where the uprights are. When I say uprights, I mean the highest point of the metal, so that I can screw through. So when I push this insulation back into its location where it's going to go, which will be approximately there, and when I put my ply on the top, I'll still be able to see where I need to screw, and I'll strike some lines. I'll obviously take some measurements as well, but you can see pretty much that them lines run all the way through, front to back. So as long as I know where I start, I can probably measure off the side to the point there, strike a line through, and I should be good for fixing. I'm not going to put loads of fixings in though. Right, that's the full floor. It's 25mm full bed of insulation. So I'm going to do what you would do like in sort of like a garage conversion. Have a floating floor as it were, except I'm going to fix it down in a few places. So done away with the battens, decided we weren't going to use them. Two reasons: they were bent, they weren't quite 25, they were up and down 25, 24. But you can see I foiled around all the edges, taped it all up. Did away with the silicone sealant down the edge of it all. Wasn't one of my best ideas, and it was quite messy. So I've cut it all, got it all as tight as I can, and fit it all the way around. So that now is sat on top of the Dodo Superliner and the Dodo Dead Mat, which filled the recesses as I showed you before. So I've got a nice flat bed now, and I've obviously got my marks up there, my Sharpie marks to tell me where the lines are, so I should be able to just measure off that side wall, and when I put my ply down, be able to screw it and successfully screw down into the ridges. I'm using stainless steel screws, so they're not going to rot from the arse up, as it were. So as you might have guessed, I've got absolutely no idea what my internal setup is going to be. That's why I didn't really bother with the slate battens, because I didn't know where I was going to fix stuff and what I was going to have. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and get the ply in as bigger pieces as possible, to prevent any just little pieces that are a little wobbly or uneven. So what I'll probably do, I'm going to put a full board down there like that, so I can cut out nice around that step. I'm going to get a trim made for the edge of the step. I'll get another full piece in there then, and then I'll put a piece in there and a piece in there. Or that's the plan at this moment in time anyway. Right, so there's my full sheet. Naturally, they're an 8-foot sheet these rather than 1.2. So what I'm going to try and do is get it into a position where it's pretty close to that side and parallel as possible. What I'm just going to do there, I'm going to measure off that side wall and get it parallel to that wall, which was slightly out there. So let's have a look. I've got a 500 gap there touching the side. If I can get a 500 gap here, I'm of course assuming that the van is parallel and doesn't taper back, which probably should have checked, but I haven't. Right, so I'm 500 there, so what I'm going to do now is try and scribe it into there and cut out for the step and put this down in one full piece. Right, so to scribe it in, I'm parallel off that wall there. I've got 500 a piece off that side. Not bothered about the step at the moment, because I'm going to draw that out from underneath. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get my tape and just have a look at that. I haven't got my glasses on, but it looks about 58mm. And again, it's 65 there, so that tells me the van is not parallel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure the van and see if it's parallel. Nah, it's not. So what's actually happening is the van is tapering in like that, or at least it is there anyway. So that's going to do away with that idea. So the next plan now is to scribe it into that wall. So to scribe it into this wall, let me show you here now. Right, so what I'm thinking is keep that part parallel. So when I scribe this bit in here, then that part there will be just a parallel cut, nice and easy. Drop that in, screw it down, fix it and get that in. And then away we go on the bottom ones. It's looking like the van is tapering in a little bit at the back, or it certainly is near the wheel arches anyway. Right, so to taper this in then, because it's tapered in, so to scribe it in, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for my biggest measurement, which is that there. It's approximately 63mm. So I'm going to cut myself a little scribe block at 65mm. And then I'm going to run it down there, and then that will, if I follow that contour, I'll show you how I do it. I'll follow that contour there, follow that one just up on that little nib up there as well, and then that should slide across tight to there. Right, so I'll go old school with this. I'll get a compass, set the compass to that distance there. What should happen if I run that down like that? Right, so I don't know if you can see, but I've used the compass. I set the compass for that distance there, which is the biggest one. It's very faint, the line, but I can see it. It's just running along there like that, tapering wider and wider there. And I've obviously notched a little bit out of there just to get it to go in, because I'll be cutting a lot of that off anyway. So hopefully now when I jigsaw that should pull across tight to there. Right, so there's my scribe. I've cut that down there. Yeah, I'm going to keep it off because I don't want the ply to touch the wall, just for fear of it creaking as I'm driving. Obviously notched a big piece out there, so let it go. And what I've got now is this side here. I can sort of show you with my tape measure. What's going to there is, what we got there, about 565-ish. Yeah, and this is here is 562. So tap that over a little bit like that, so it's 565. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my hand underneath there and mark the stair so I can cut the step out, and then this is where this board will go. If I can find my Sharpie, which is over here, so that can work. I'm going to put a mark there, and I know where the board is going to go when it's in. And then that board down can get cut round the step, cut round the step and fixed. Right, so that's my first board cut. I've just measured the gaps now, sort of like between there and the parallel, so I'll be able to cut a parallel piece and put that board in there now. And of course I need to then scribe these last pieces in here. What I'm thinking though, may not bought enough, bought 3, I assumed there was going to be enough. What I was going to do originally, we used them templates that I took out, but of course left them out in rain, time passed and they're absolutely knackered, they need to go and skip. So now I'm left with this. I'm going to screw this down and see how this goes anyway. Right, so I've transferred my Sharpie marks onto my ply and I've striked them down. So I've got a full rows there, you can see all the lines. Let me zoom out a little bit, you can see all the lines. There, I can fix on any one of them points I want now because I know that the metal's just under there. Right, so I've got full board in there, cut around the step. I'm going to get like a trim made up for that when I get the floor in. My offcut there went in there, so that's parallel, that's nice and marked up. Now I need to get this bit in here, so what I want is, I know that square along that line there, it's butted up, nice machine joint. So what I need to do now is look for my deepest point along there, which probably, it looks quite parallel, but I look for the deepest point, and then I need to make a scribe block that length, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut that, scribe it round that wheel arch, so that it slides in there nice, and it sits well there. What I'm trying to avoid is the ply touching the side of the van, so that when it's moving it's not squeaking. So I'm going to keep it see that little distance I've got off there, it's about 4mm. So I've measured that at 215mm. Now I know 215mm will fit all the way down there. So I'm going to cut a scribe block at 215 and then scribe it in. Right, so there's my 215 scribe block. I know it'll fit in there and it'll give me a little gap to prevent the ply touching that wall. So what I'm going to do now is just put it there like that. Now, we're not looking for airtight here, yeah? Okay, so what we're looking for is for it to fit rather than be airtight. So I know that 215 there will go all the way down there, no problem. And then we come to the wheel arch. Have a look, see if we can get that in camera. Right, okay. So my 215 there, I'm going to put that there. Let's see how much I've got in. There we go. Right, so I'll put that there, put that on there, and just drag that down there like that. Following the contour of the wheel arch. Like I say, we're not looking for airtight. I'll do that again just because I can't see pencil line properly with camera. Yeah, just following the wheel arch all the way down. Have a look, so I'm not quite sure how much I've got in there. Right, we'll do the curve bit now. Right, So my 215's in there, yeah. So I'm going to put that point on there. Let me sharpen that pencil because that's a load of crap. There's my 215. Put my pencil on there. I'm just going to bring that. See where my pencil is there? Look, it's just on the end of that scribe block. And I'm going to keep that parallel. And there, it's met up with that mark there, so I'm just going to round that off now, like that. Put a little bit of a round on there, because I know that I want to curve that round there. And see my wheel arch round there that I've done. See if we can get you in on this point here. Right, so there's my wheel arch now. Following the contours. Get my scribe block again. Go down. Keeping it parallel or thereabouts parallel anyway, and then slide it down there like that, and that now will be certainly good enough for what we want anyway. So I'm going to now take that wheel arch out there that I've marked, take that little bit there as well that I've marked, and hopefully that'll slide in there and be a nice fit. Right, so I've cut that, bring it in now. Let's see if it's going to fit. It might want a little bit out, you know. Won't be the end of the world anyway. That's for sure. Let's drop it down, try to break that little skinny end off that I've done there. Just feels a little bit tight down that wheel arch there. Right, so what I'm going to do, like I said, it's not, you don't want it airtight, that's for sure. Let's have a look there, see if you can get that. So what I'm looking at now is possibly just taking a bit more off there, like that, and a little bit more off this wheel arch that probably is not in view for you. Just so that we can get it to go in nice. Right, what I want is that to budge across 10mm, so that sheet's in line with that sheet. Yeah, so I'm looking at that. That doesn't look too bad. I'm happy with that there. That's fine. Gap all the way around, so we're good with that. All that's stopping that moving across 10mm is, and take a little bit off that wheel arch there, a bit off that corner, and a little bit off the length of that. And then that full sheet will move across the 10mm, so it's dead in line with that joint there. So third time, I'm going to get it back further than what it needs to be so it doesn't break off. Nearly look. Nearly broke it off. Get it in position, put it up to where I want to go, and it is stopping on something and I cannot see what there. That wheel arch there is catching on that, which is preventing it going up a couple more mil. So it just wants a tiny little bit off that wheel arch there, and that'll do. Right, so that's it for today. I've just managed to beat the rain. So what we've done, we've got our Dodo sound deadening in the little grooves. We've got the Dodo mat in the grooves as well to sort of level them out, and then we've got 25mm PIR on top of that, and then I put the 12mm ply down, so no slate battens. Decided to do away with that. Sacked off ceiling around the edge because that was just a waste of time. Don't know what we're thinking. Bloody messy as well. But now I've fixed this down. It's solid, doesn't feel spongy at all. I'm happy enough with that. I'll just show you around it anyway. So you can see there, none of it is actually touching the bodywork, which is what I wanted. So that I was sort of worried to be like, you know, be driving along and be squeaking and annoying the life out of you. This will all get addressed. Some kind of trim going on there as well. There's a window going in there. And of course, I'm going to put the flares on the side so that we can get the longer bed in there. I mean, one thing that I have been thinking about and all, I've raised this floor by nearly 25mm plus another 12, about 37mm. Now I'm 5'8", and you can see there, let's have a look, you can see there, there's only a few more inches, what's that? About 6-7 inches above me, so if you're 6'6", I suppose this might be the wrong van to go for really. You can see there we've rigged up a light and all, just because obviously winter's coming, so we can carry on working in here. So that's it. Thanks for watching. It has been a bit slow progress, partly my own fault really, because the wind kind of peed me off. But I will crack on with that again. Raining again. I need to get some visqueen over windows, I think, and let them dry out, and then I can repair them and then move on with that. But I'm happy now. This floor has been a bit of a bugbearer for me really. I just want, you know, it's a pain in the arse walking on alt ridges, kneeling on alt ridges, hurts your knees and flats. Now I've got a nice solid base and actually work up off now. I am going to address the insulation, and I don't think I'm going down the vapor barrier road from what I've read. I think ventilation is key, and you're never going to fully form a completely tight vapor barrier anyway. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you're here for the garden rooms obviously my priority and my main thing, but I just thought I'd give this a go really, just to try and get me through a stage of my life where I've like sitting around and thinking too much about things. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. There's a little subscribe button down the bottom there if you want to just click on that. That'd be amazing as well. All right, thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.